Simply curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I had today. From my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known. Would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's a life I could have known.
Hello. This is 1100 WSGI. You know what's going on if you've been around a while. I love it when people, when I'm out and about and people say, I listen to the show every day and all those things. And, we see a little bit of it on social media, but we know there's that terrestrial signal out there. And some of you just tuning in to old-fashioned radio, and we love you for that. So forgive us when we talk about, you can see this or that. We'll try not to do that to you, because I know that if you're just listening on regular radio, which is my first love, we just, we need to be more descriptive in the things that we're holding up. I'm holding up a book by Sheila Bertram-Byrd, and it's a cookbook. My friend Sheila Bird's in the house. Sheila, how long have I known you? I mean, we've known each other, it feels like forever.
Since 2001.
Okay. How did we meet? Do you remember?
Well, I met you at Crossroads Christian Bookstore.
Really?
Yep, that's the first time I ever met you was there.
Okay, and just being local and all that kind of thing.
Well, I was managing the store.
Were you managing? Okay, okay. I'm just trying to remember, because you feel like, it's just like Gwen Harder is somebody that I've known forever. And I have to think back, so when did we meet in different ones like that? And Lee Marie, Lee Marie is somebody that has just kind of become a fixture in this county.
She sure has.
And she has not been here that long. I mean, she's been here like 10 years. She got here from California. I forget exactly when. And she hit the ground running. And she very quickly, she knows way more about this area than I do, and I've been in Robertson County since '92, and but my career was always in Nashville, and so I just didn't learn enough about it. But she's one of those. I think about. I met her when I was running for Congress, but I couldn't remember when you and I met, because I do. I feel like I've known you forever. I know Lee Marie is like, I want you to meet Sheila, and I'm like, I know Sheila. Yeah, I know Sheila. And there's so many things. Sheila came in today. We're going to talk about my father's house and the fundraiser that y'all got coming up. And it's on 16th, right?
Well, that's one of the fundraisers, but
you've got a couple of things going on.
But we have our first fundraiser is this coming Sunday.
Okay.
And that is a free concert at Springfield Baptist Church.
Okay.
The Nashville Praise Symphony will be there.
Okay.
And I would suggest you get there early.
It's going to be packed.
It's going to be packed. They are awesome. If you've not ever heard them before, or if you have heard them before, you're going to want to hear them again.
Okay.
But it's going to be a full house.
Yeah.
And they volunteer to do this. They have such a heart for community and for nonprofits, especially in this area, and they're so good.
Yeah.
But they're going to be there, and that is at 6:00 on the 26th of April.
Okay.
This Sunday. So you'll have time to go to church, come home, have lunch, take a nap, and come out and see us.
There you go. And it's a fundraiser for my father's house.
Yes.
And it's so funny because The first time I heard that you were working with my father's house, I thought, well, of course she is, because she gets in. You get involved in so many different things. I've talked to you about different things, different missions that you're involved with. I've talked to you about your journey through cancer. You're one of those kind of like Jack Martin up at Green Ridge. When we first heard your prognosis and all that, we just thought we were going to lose you. And there was many times we thought we were going to lose you. And then all of a sudden I hear, well, she's not on hospice anymore. I'm like, what? Because you were on hospice
3 times.
3 times. And I mean, just a miracle of God.
Yeah.
And you've got so many stories to tell. So I was kind of unpacking why Sheila's here. Number one reason is to talk about my father's house. Well, we were planning on having TriStar in here at 7:30. There was some confusion. They thought they were coming in next week. So, and the reason why is because we have that extra, is because next week is like the last Thursday, because we have an extra one, because the first fell on, the 30th is on a Thursday. And I think they had in their head, we're coming in on the last Thursday of the month. And because we have 5 Thursdays, there was some confusion there. And anytime we have a 5th of anything in the week, like I have a 5th Wednesday or anything like that, we have these reoccurring guests and there's some confusion over it. So that's what happened. They're coming in next week and we're going to be talking. I reached out to see, I think it's stress, we're talking about helping to reduce stress is going to be the topic. But again, my apologies. I was promoting that we were having TriStar in here today, but we are going to have them in next Thursday. But I messaged Lee Marie last night and I said, Sheila's still coming in the morning, didn't she? And so I wasn't concerned because I thought, Sheila and I can talk for 3 hours. We will have no problem filling an hour's worth of content at all. But so I tell you, before we get into all the stuff that you heard promote, I got to tell you about, I was telling you that something that I wanted to mention to you and see if you were familiar with it, because I was familiar with it, but I had never delved into it, is the book Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire. All about the Brooklyn Tabernacle. And the reason why this came up is we've got stuff going on at our church. And we are, I've been at the Madison Church of Christ since 1989. And my sweet friend, can I call her doctor yet? Dr. Shane Lee. I think she says she's got her doctorate. She's an amazing woman and just my dear sister. And she's like, we need to get together and have this prayer meeting on Wednesday nights about over our church. And I zoomed in and listened to it because I was driving home because I get up so early. But I've heard about the Brooklyn Tabernacle my whole life, it feels like. And I've heard about the book, Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire. And she was telling everybody, you need to read this book. And I messaged her and I said, okay, I got the book. She goes, did you not read it? She just assumed I had. I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't. And if you have never read it, you need to read it because it's so inspiring about letting God direct what the church is doing. And it's been so inspiring, but I've been listening to that. Have you ever read that?
I have not read it, but I have heard about it for the longest time.
I'll challenge you. If you've got an Audible account, just download it. And that's what I've been listening to ever since Shana mentioned it. Dr. Lee, I just love that she's got her doctorate. I'm so proud of her. I'm going to start calling her doctor all the time. It
was exciting when I got mine.
You've got a doctorate?
Yes.
I did not know that. Well, Dr. Sheila Bertram-Byrd.
In divinity.
Well, that's wonderful. And Shana's is something to do. She got it from Lipscomb. But I was telling you about, you need to meet Shana. Oh, she's amazing. She came in to the church as one of our female youth minister when my kids were in their teens, my twins particularly, my oldest ones. And she ended up going back to school. She had one of the kids that came through her program there, became a nurse at the cancer hospital for kids at Vanderbilt.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so inspired her. She went back and got her nursing degree so she could work at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
Okay. Now she's gone back. She's extremely smart. And she went back and got her doctorate now, and probably in theology or something like that. But she teaches at Lipscomb, and she teaches the Bible. She oftentimes, and I'm assuming she's still doing that, but she does all the things. But she leads our college ministry at church. as a volunteer. She, of course, just ministers to families as a nurse at Vanderbilt. And she has her doctorate now, so I know she's teaching. And I know when she's teaching at Lipscomb, she oftentimes teaches the Bible classes for those who are going into the health field.
Right.
So she's that kind of person. You would love her. But anyway, so she's the one who decided we needed to gather while we're going through some stress at our congregation.
Right.
And she recommended Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire last night. And so I pulled the book up and started listening to it. You will benefit from it. But the thing that I found most profound about so far is that so much of that, what happened at the Brooklyn Tabernacle, okay, the choir, I mean, everybody knows that it was, the choir had so much to do with it, but it was also the power of the testimony.
Wow.
Lives changed.
Wow.
And that's one of the things Shana told me last night. She says story after story of lives that have changed. And I keep thinking, that's what we do through CR. That's the story of my father's house. And it's supposed to be the story of the church. And we have forgotten that. We've become this formal thing where we come in and we do our formal worship, and there's no room for testimonies to be shared, not in the way that they need to be shared raw and real, and a place for the Spirit to fill somebody up, and then just to get up and share praise.
I agree.
Justin Martyr was an early writer in the church, and he talks about we came together on the day of the sun. And I think the word is the president or the leader would get up and share, and others would share. And there was a place, and even, Paul wrote about how when the men and women get up and pray and prophesy, and we don't open that. We're so formal. It's like we have our preacher, we have our song leader, we have this, we have the order, and there's something missing. And as I read the story of the Brooklyn Tabernacle, he talks about how that, they were singing a couple of songs, and then somebody got up to share a testimony, and then there's just everything just changed, and they just how the free form of what the church is supposed to be is through the testimonies of what God has done in our lives, and you are a walking, living testimony.
That's for sure.
And you said you wanted, as we were talking about my father's house today and filling the time. It's already 1:15, so trust me, we'll have no problem filling the time today. You wanted to share some of the success stories, some of the testimonies through my father's house. So I unpack all that to say my brain is filled with Brooklyn Tabernacle and Fresh Wind, Fresh Fire from listening, to these stories, overnight, and then this morning as I'm getting ready. And then you're here, and I know your story and your miracle of how you have survived cancer and just beautifully, and all the beautiful missions that you work with. So where do you want to start, sister?
Well, let's see. Well, I'll tell you first, this is our third year with the building that we have on 10th Avenue at my father's house. Our third year. But at that building, we've been around for a while because we were being hosted in churches. But at that building, this is our third season. And we just finished what most of us said was one of the most challenging, difficult seasons we've experienced.
Wow.
But the thing about it is the fruit that came out of that challenge was amazing. Right at the last moment, it's like I said a minute ago, I said, He's on time. He's never early and he's never late. And right when we thought, what are we going to do? How are we going to help this person? God would pull something out of his hat, and say, this is what I want you to do. And we had we had more mental illness in the building this year than we've ever had. More drug abuse in the building than we've ever had. We had more elderly in the building than we've ever had. We didn't necessarily deal with as many families. We did deal with a lot with children involved, but I wouldn't say there was more this year than any other year, but they were still just as heartbreaking. But we were able to get those that some of them that were suffering with mental illness that didn't know there was a way for them to get help. They were too overwhelmed and incapable of doing it for themselves. We were able to get them the help that they needed into facilities that could help to get them back on the right track. We were able to get some elderly people into assisted living facilities, able to help others get apartments, jobs, detox, rehab, those kind of things. And it was just, most people think that we just provide a bed and a meal for them. But the most important thing that we do when we open our doors in the evening is that we bring them the Word of God through devotion. Mm-hmm. And their felt need is, I need a place to lay down that's warm, and I need a meal. Yeah. I need food in my belly. But the food that we feed their spirit is more important. And so after dinner, we sat down and we have a devotional. And some of those devotions, I'm going to tell you, the volunteers that come in and do devotions, better than any sermon I've ever heard preached from a platform on a Sunday morning. And these are people coming in with testimonies that have broken the wall down that we experience with these people. Because once they come into the shelter at the beginning of the season, it's difficult to break that wall down and to get to get to the depth of their story so we know where we can help them. And that's important. And that's something we're really in need of. We're in need of good, solid, committed mentors that are willing to come and sit for an hour and just talk to somebody. Right. And find out, what is your story? Mm. How did you get here? And how can I help you get past it? Mm. And even if they just come and just get the story, they can pass that story off to those of us that, like on the board, that don't have time to sit down with them every single night. But if someone sat down and got the bulk of the story and passed it on to us, we would know what we were looking at with this person. But, in years past, we've had some massive testimonies. One young man that came through in and out of drugs and in and out of the system and in and out of jail and lost his child and all of this. And now I can attest to the fact that he is married. He has 2 children, not one. He is working for the same court system that he was in and out of.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And is doing wonderful, is out there on social media encouraging others going through the same thing, telling them how they can make it, how they can come out of what they're walking through, and emphasizing the fact that the word through is important in that phrase. What you're walking through, that depicts an entrance and an exit. Mm-hmm. So we're not walking into it, we're walking through it. Mm-hmm. And that's what my Father's house does, is we walk through it with them. Right. Our doors are closed for the season, but as far as overnight stays. Mm-hmm. But we have continued since March 31st, which is the date we shut the doors for overnight stays. We've continued to place people and walk beside them and see to them and make sure that they have what they need. Mm-hmm. But this year we're doing something different. On Mondays and Thursdays, we're going to be open for lunch, showers, and mentoring. We don't have enough volunteers to be open 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
It's not because we don't want to be open. It's because we do not have the warm bodies that it takes to do this task. Mm-hmm. So apart from people partnering with us and coming in to help us with this, that's why we're just a cold weather shelter at this point. But we are so much more. We are a resource center. We are a family that walks through this with them. We served veterans this year. Just heartbreaking. A grandmother on a walker a grandmother raising her 3-year-old grandchild. I mean, the list goes on. And a lot of Robertson County doesn't realize the magnitude of homelessness, and even going past homelessness, but helplessness. We serve meals to people that have a roof over their head, but because they're paying for the roof over their head, can't provide a meal for their table. And so they come to us for the evening meal. They come to our blessing box for food, for throughout the daytime. And then we feed them a hot meal at night. We fed a family of 5 all season. They're now in an apartment, have jobs. We're thankful for that. We were able to help them get the apartment furnished and set up housekeeping again. They lost everything due to a scam where someone scammed them, and it happens. It happens every day. But I'm thankful that Robertson County has a place that they can come to help them when they're in the midst of something like that.
So during the off season, then how do people contact you? Because like I said, my experiences having worked at the Benevolent Center up at Madison is very similar to what y'all are dealing with my father's house, but we're not the shelter because we had the mission and all of that we could point to, and but it's a constant thing where people are knocking on the door at the Benevolent Center that are in situations where just what you described. Yeah. We've got mental illness, we've got drug addictions, we have just terrible things that have happened that have forced people. Well, I can remember so many conversations with people where they were maintaining a roof over their head, and then somebody would come in that they were renting from and said, I've sold the property and you're got to leave, and they couldn't find anywhere else. And that story happened more than once because of the way Nashville's changed over the last 10 years, where landlords, I can get more money by selling this property to this such and such, and people would find themselves homeless, just like you were saying with the person that got scammed or something like that. There are so many stories out in the unhoused community, and that is the story. They've been working. They were doing everything they could, and they just lost their lease.
Right.
There was a story that I encountered where there was a woman who they lost their lease because her husband had a stroke and couldn't work. And so her income wasn't enough. They were living out of their truck. They were in a hotel, a couple of nights a week just so they could get showers and things like that. God bless them. I mean, there's all kinds of stories. Everybody just assumes that the people that are, that are homeless are drug addicts, or they're mentally ill, or they're something, they're this or that. No. And the kids that are out there, the teens, we had this sweet man. We called him Happy, that was part of our program, just a regular at the Benevolent Center up at Madison when I was there. And he has since passed, but him and his brother, they were forced out of their home as teenagers when their mother remarried a guy who, her husband did not like them. And the minute that he could, they were 15, 16 years old, and he booted them out. Him and his brother lived on the street for the rest of Happy's life. And I'm not sure about the story of his brother because I've, been removed from that. But when I started teaching, but just incredible stories like that. And people just have no idea, like you said, the helplessness aspect of it. They don't know where to turn for help because they just have never been taught.
Exactly.
And 211 will tell you that's a United Way number you can call for resources that will point you to a lot of different things. And so that was the question. Before you answer that, I need to do a break because we'll be out of time so quick. But let me go ahead and do one of my breaks, and then we'll come back, and then you let people know how they can get in touch with you guys for services outside of the world whenever y'all are closed. Well, you did mention the 2 days y'all are open, but let's kind of expound upon that and just remind folks. But we're going to start with Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty today. our longest running full-time sponsor. We love them so much. We love it when we get a chance to talk with them, and we will be talking with them very, very soon because of the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. That's coming up next month, y'all. I can't wait to get out there 15th and 16th of May. Friday and Saturday we'll be out there, and Barry and Rebecca will be out there in their cool little Prime Realty tent, our Exit Prime Realty tent, and they'll give away something fun. They were at Discover White House this past weekend, gave away this big old chicken, and they're always doing something, something silly and fun just to get you to come over and say hi to them. They just want you to say hello and give them a chance to see what your needs are when it comes to the real estate community, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, or whether you want to be a realtor, whatever it is. They are the perfect couple to sit down and talk with. And Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival would be a great place just to come out, sit down, and just visit with them. But you can do that really anytime. You can reach out to them and call them, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. And you can say, hey, here's the deal. I need something part-time. I want to be look into real estate, and they'll talk to you about it. They'll give you straight answers about it. Absolutely the expectations. They both came out of other careers into real estate, so they get it, and they can talk to you about it. And Barry said he might talk you out of it because it's not for everybody. He's going to be super honest with you about what the expectations are, because you are an entrepreneur. You are successful as the ship you drive, and he will be very straight with you on that, but they would help you in every way possible. His marketing background that he has, he was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years, is so unique, and he can help you with that understanding of it in such a beautiful way to make sure that you know what you're getting into if it comes to being a realtor. If you have property you're wanting to list and you think it's worth this amount of money, well, they're going to say, let's do a free market analysis on that. Let's make sure that you have the proper expectations of what you think your property is going to bring. Because you got to look at the market. You got to look what's going on around you. And you got to see what somebody can possibly get a loan for if they come and buy your property. You got to be practical on it. And you got to be practical on the home that you're going to buy and how much home can you buy. Have you gotten pre-qualified? Well, they're going to make sure that you do that before you go start looking. You don't want to get your heart broken if you're looking at a home that just is not within your budget. You're not going to be able to get financing for it. They're going to answer all those questions. If you want to check out all their listings, you can Google them. Barry will say, Barry Richards, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, and you'll find unique web pages, social media pages about all the things that they've got going on. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they've been up in Cross Plains for 30 years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because, like myself, they're originally from Kentucky. They're the whole package. Great friends of the program. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, sellwithbecky.com or buy, B-U-Y, RobertsonCounty.com, and let them know you've turned sent you. Okay, Sheila, answer the question. How can they get in touch with you guys?
Okay, they can get in touch with us a couple of different ways.
Okay.
They can contact us by our website, which is myfathershousemission.org.
Okay, one more time.
So it's myfathershousemission.org.
Okay.
And they can also call us at 615-992-1547. That's 615-992-1547. They can reach us either of those ways, or they can get in contact with us personally from 11 to 2 on Mondays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And we start that on May the 4th. That will be our first Monday there. We'll be providing lunch, opportunity for hot showers, and continue with the counseling and the mentoring that we began in the winter season.
Okay.
We placed many of our people. So, but there are some. It's unfortunate that we can only sleep 22 people at the shelter. There's so many more out there.
That just blows my mind when you think about it. You can only sleep 22 people, and this is little old Robertson County, and that's that big of a problem?
You have no idea.
Yes, it is.
There's hundreds and hundreds of people out there that are homeless and sleeping in their vehicles, and the homeless camps. I mean, there's 4 of them that are just in the Springfield area.
That's incredible.
And I mean, that doesn't include Robertson County as a whole. I'm talking just Springfield area. And people don't even know they're there.
Yeah.
But we have a good crew that gets the word out to them and things like that to let them know that we're going to be opening for the summer to feed them a couple of times a week and to help them with getting showers and things. But, and that's the reason we do these fundraisers is, it's the operating capital on top of the fact that we purchased the building, because in just doing a lease, it was just throwing away money every month.
Yeah.
Not really, but kind of.
Yeah.
And so when the building came up for sale, we purchased the building. And so we want to pay down our mortgage. We want to, we're trying to build operating capital for the coming season as well as for these days during the summer. There's just so much more that needs to be done to give a hand up and stop giving a hand out.
Right.
Because we are not helping them. We are not solving the situation. We're not a viable solution if all we're doing is giving them a handout. And so that's the reason we became a resource center.
Tiffany Thompson, who is just a dear friend of mine, and I was talking with her about a situation where we're dealing with a reoccurring situation that we have at our Celebrate Recovery with somebody that is just constantly coming to the well and just wanting everybody to do everything for him. And she said, enabling is not love. Enabling is not love. And that is something that just has stuck with me profoundly. And that is the thing that we have to remember. But you do have to do everything. There's so many that are helpless. They don't understand what to do. You've got a lot of mental illness that they don't know what to do. And so you have to, try to figure out, what you can do to help. But enabling is not love. And it's the thing that you have said many times here as far as the hand up and not the hand out.
Right.
And that's the goal of all these programs that we have that are so beautiful around Robertson County, is to help people to be able to help themselves.
Absolutely.
And to move on. And to those that are truly helpless, to know what to do to direct them to we are so blessed in this country and in this community, in this state, to have just a plethora of options for people. And you talk about your getting people placed in housing and different things like that. I've seen so many of those stories out of the programs we have up at the Madison Church of Christ and through the benevolence program up there. And it wasn't anything that we did, but we knew because we just would have food and we could have clothes that we could help them with. But we knew the different programs around, that could say they can help you with housing.
Exactly.
And, knowing how to connect those dots.
Yes.
And that's what you guys are doing through My Father's House. You're helping connect the dots. Right.
Right. And we're building teams that ones that, we have somebody that headed up a team this last season where she saw to it that they got their documentation they need, because they usually come to us without driver's license, without birth certificates, without Social Security cards. They need to reestablish this documentation so they can get jobs, they can get housing and things like that. And we had a lady that helped with all that. That's this season. So as we move into this next season, we're going to be building teams that specialize in certain things. One of my expertise is in rehab and counseling, and because I'm a family counselor, that's just my mode of operation. And so I can mentor and I can counsel and find rehab facilities and things of that nature, and mental health facilities to help them with that if that's what's needed. But we have others that are better at locating housing and navigating that market. So we're learning as we go how to be more efficient in what we're doing. And because every season brings a new set of issues.
New challenges.
So we have to learn season by season so that when that issue comes up in another season, we know what we did the season before or the season before that. And it's a learning process. But we do have dedicated committed people that are working alongside us. We just don't have enough of them.
Yeah.
And that is a desperate need, enough to say, I will be there every Tuesday night, or I'll be there every other Tuesday night, or I'll be, so that we know we can depend on them, that they've made that commitment. And it's not about when you're doing something like this, you're not making a commitment to my Father's house. We are benefiting, but you're making that commitment to the Lord. Mm-hmm. And it's about being his hands and feet, because that's all we are. That's all we are. He's doing the work. We're just the body, the vessel that, is navigating it. But he's doing the work, because he has, when we thought that the situations were hopeless, mm-hmm. he has moved mountains.
Yeah.
And everything fell into place.
Right.
Dr. Kumar, State Rep Kumar, helped us with the situation this year, and just stepped in with both feet and helped us with the situation that needed some assistance before this young man came to an end that wasn't going to be good.
Right.
And so it's about networking with others. If you don't have the expertise, you find someone who does. Amen. And, we weren't all given the exact same gifts. Mm-hmm. But
I think Paul addresses that.
Right? And we operate in different ways through the power of the Holy Spirit. And when we allow God to work through us like that, that's when things begin to happen. Because the last thing Robertson County needs is another church on the corner. We don't need to create another ministry. We just need to go where God's already working. And I'm going to tell you, God's already working at my Father's house.
Yes. Sure.
He has been working for a long time, and this is definitely God-centered and God-ordained and God-driven, and I don't think anybody there is about pointing a finger towards themselves. All glory goes to God for what he's doing there. Yeah. But, the fundraisers are important, like the concert this Sunday night at 6 at Springfield Baptist. I mean,
give them that time on that again. Invite them well to that, in case they're just joining us so they know what's going on.
It is a free concert with the Nashville Praise Symphony. Okay. It'll be held, Springfield Baptist has graciously opened their doors to us, and it will begin at 6 o'clock this Sunday, April 26th, this Sunday at 6 p.m. And come early to get your seat, because it's going to be a packed house, and it's going to be an awesome thing to see and to hear. And then coming up May 16th at the Robertson County Fairgrounds, we have the My Father's House Car Show and Family Day. It is a car, truck, Jeep, motorcycle, and kiddie car show.
Okay.
So we have an official category for the battery-operated ride-along kiddie cars. They get first, second, and third place trophies just like the big guys do, and they get to come in and show their ride. We have loads of vendors. We have food trucks, some of the best food you ever want to eat. By the way, we are presently looking for a healthy option food truck. If anybody knows anybody, healthy option food truck. And
no fried Oreos.
No fried Oreo. We've got all of that good food.
Yeah.
But we need a healthy option for those who don't want that good food.
Yeah.
But we also, though, from 10 to approximately 12 o'clock, at last year's show, we began, because this is held on Armed Forces Day, we began a military ceremony, a military appreciation ceremony that honors all 6 branches of our military. And it is called Operation Shoulder to Shoulder. Mm-hmm. And we had some military there last year, all the way from Florida. Oh, wow. We had Alabama in the house. We had Florida there. We had all over Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, and it was so awesome. There was not a dry eye on the field. The veterans were in tears. what I was told was that it was the best military ceremony they had ever been to, and many of them said, and I have been to a lot of them.
Oh, wow.
And they said that was the best one we've ever been to.
Wow.
And this year, they said, what are you going to do next year to top this one? I said, I don't know, but I'm sure God will tell me something.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we're going to have an official legally recognized pinning of the Orange Heart Medal at this program. We have veterans coming in from Nashville to be awarded that Orange Heart Medal, which is the medal given to the Vietnam veterans that have suffered due to their Agent Orange exposure. And for those that have passed because of it, we're awarding it to their widows or to their children on that veteran's behalf. We will have also a service pin that will be given to the widows of the Vietnam veterans, a military service pin, and we have a special speaker that comes out of the 118th Airborne out of Berry Field. His name is Master Sergeant Scott Bertram, and he will be talking about our 250th anniversary, the military oath, and what it means to a soldier. And so we also have a first time to be seen in public, a patriotic line dance team called the Freedom Steppers.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll be performing, and it's you.
Does Marie have anything to do with
Well,
that?
yeah, no, she does. And I created it and started out as a teacher. Lee Marie helps now, and we've got a great team. We've got 13 people now in the team, and we don't believe in bad luck. We like 13. But we believe 13 is a blessing and not a curse. And so anyway, we're going to perform this year. We have trophies being given out to the youngest and the oldest veteran. We have live performances of the national anthem. Tammy Liverance is going to be there and sing the national anthem, as well as God Bless America. We have Dalton Gray, who's one of the lead acts out of the Opryland Hotel, who will be doing God Bless the USA and Mr. Red, White, and Blue. He'll also be doing another full set of country music after the military program. We have live music all day long.
That'll be great.
We have one group that does classic rock. Their name is FOG, F-O-G, which stands for Five Old Guys.
5 old guys.
And then we have the Modines out of Cedar Hill. They do some bluegrass gospel, some rhythm and blues gospel, where they kind of put a little twist on the older hymns, and some country music. So we have got a full lineup that day. But that's not the only fundraiser we've got coming up.
Okay.
June 12th at the big barbecue throwdown at the fairgrounds.
Right.
On the 12th, they do it Friday night and Saturday. But on the 12th, they have a wing contest.
Right.
And you pay to enter your wings in the contest, and people put money in the jar for the votes. They vote on the best wings, and that money goes to a local charity. We are one of the recipients of that contest this year, so we're excited for that. Mm-hmm. So that'll be at the Robertson County Fairgrounds on June 12th.
Okay.
So we've got a lineup of fundraisers coming, and the Lord is always blessed at these fundraisers. He always blesses us.
Well, and if you're, new to the area and wondering about My Father's House, again, it's what Sheila was saying. It started as a campaign in the local churches. Room at the Inn is something that the mission in Nashville had going. And My Father's House came in and did something similar, where different churches would host and provide shelter for folks. And the need was seen that it needs to be all the time. It doesn't need to be just one night a week during the cold, because think about, oh my goodness, during the ice storm. Oh yeah, I know that had to have been a mess.
We were open 24/7.
Yeah.
And we just packed a bag and went in and stayed with them the whole time, and they wouldn't have survived out there in that. No. And last year we had some similar weather, and the year prior it was worse than the year we just went through. And it's something that's absolutely needed.
You bet. And it's not going anywhere, and it's something that I'm just so thankful that we have that. I'm just so thankful. Before we wrap up our time together, and it's 1:45, we're going to be out of time before long. Talk to me a little bit about your story when we come back. I'm going to do a break, and when we come back, let's just talk a little bit about your story. I'm curious about this book, and you say you've got another one coming out. Make sure and invite them to know how they can purchase those books, because I love local authors, and we have a lot of them. And I didn't know that you were one. And this has even got good recipes in it. So
it sure does.
I want you to tell them about that. But let's take and pause for a moment, and let's talk about the other part of getting your, we talk about Barry and Rebecca, and I love that we have partnered with the perfect partner for their full-time sponsorship, and that is Valor Mortgage. When Chris Armitrout came in and said that he wanted to be a full-time sponsor, I'm like, that is just absolutely perfect, because we always talk about the first thing you need to do when it comes to the mortgage community in anything to do with real estate is, if you're going to buy a house, you got to know how much you can pre-qualify for. And that's one thing that Chris mentioned the first time he came in and sat down to talk to us about the VA loan options that you had. You've got to look and see how much home you can qualify for before you even get out there and start looking. And they are perfectly equipped to help you with that. Now, when he came in with Scott last month, we talked specifically about VA loans, but as we were continuing to talk, we found out, well, they handle everything. VA loans, FHA loans, they've got conventional jumbo financing. It's not just about buying your first home. Maybe if you want to do some investing or do a refi. Brian Pulley was in here that day and said that Chris actually handled a refi for them, a refinance, saved them a couple of points on their interest rate, just anything and everything. They've got experienced loan officers that can work with you. They are located in downtown, but Chris says really the best way to get in touch with them is just to give them a call, because they're out and about meeting with people all the time. So you might not catch them in the office if you just stop by. But you can call them at 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, or you can go to valor.mortgage, get pre-approved, start the process, and see what's going on with your mortgage or the mortgage that you want to have, because buying home is one of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make. If you're a first-time home buyer, you need somebody on your team. You need a team, not somebody that's going to just treat you like a number. And if you call those random numbers that they're on, you hear them all the time, that go to some national pool that is not going to get you this personalized treatment that's going to make sure that you are properly represented and that you are able to get to the closing table and get that home of your dreams. Get pre-approved today. Reach out to valor.mortgage, or again, that number is 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, because when it matters most, you deserve a lender you can trust. Buy with confidence. Buy with Valor. Valor Mortgage, NMLS number 1210804, DBA of Encore Lending Group, NMLS 1249911, equal housing lender, subject to credit approval, rates and terms subject to change without notice. Not a commitment to lend. And always on the sponsor side, let them know you turned sent you, y'all. Okay, Sheila, tell us a little bit about your story. When did you write this book, and what's the heart behind this?
That book was written before I was ever diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
And I had gone through a particular traumatic time in my life. And, it's the subtitle is From a Mother's Heart.
Yeah.
And I remember when my daughter, she got married, and she called about 3 weeks later, and she said, "Mama, I need recipes for all of the recipes all of the meals that you cook that Shane really likes." She said, "I don't know how to cook, and he's going to leave me if I don't learn to cook."
Oh, how fun.
And so I actually wrote her out, made her a cookbook, and wrote it out and sent it to her. And because when she was growing up, she said, "I'm never getting married, I'm never having children, and I don't want to learn to cook." And so I didn't force her into the kitchen.
Yeah.
But I myself loved cooking. So I literally was asleep one night, woke up in the dead of night, and couldn't go back to sleep. And on my mind was, you're going to write a devotional cookbook. They're going to get a daily devotional, and they're going to get a recipe. And I'm going, God, this has got to be you, because I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
And then when Westbow Press, which is the first-time publishers arm of Thomas Nelson, called me and asked me about my book because I shopped it out there, and they said, we have nothing like this. We don't even have a category to put it in, but we'll figure one out. And so that's what they did. And so I published with them. And like I said, it has a daily devotional, and then it has a recipe. All of the recipes are unique from my kitchen. So I kind of make them up. And I now have one that is in the process of coming out that is called From the South to Your Mouth. Now, all of those devotions in that book have to do with the power of the tongue. What comes out of your mouth? What's your confession? What's your testimony like? Because it's powerful. Mm-hmm. And so that book is coming out soon. I'm also in the process of writing one about my journey through cancer called Yea, Though I Walk, My Walk Out of the Valley of Cancer. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm working on a few projects, but I also have an online cooking show twice a month called Feast. And the F stands for fellowship. E is experience the word, A is apply the word, S is savor the word, T is trust the word. Okay. So I just film it in my kitchen in Greenbrier, and I teach a recipe, and then we sit down on a stool and we talk about Jesus while it's cooking. And so I do that twice a month, and you can find that on my Facebook page. And my Facebook page is under Sheila Bertram-Byrd, B-Y-R-D. And you can go to my Facebook page and get announcements on that, and you can tune in live. As far as my books, they're available at Crossroads Christian Bookstore in Springfield, or you can get them online at Amazon.
Okay. And just put in Sheila Ann Bird. And I had no idea you did a cooking show, sis. That's wonderful.
I do.
That's really cute. So, and do you like, is it on the first Tuesday, or is it like?
Well, usually it is the second Tuesday and then the last one. But during this time of doing all these fundraisers for the shelter, I have gotten a little bit off track on that, but normally it is the second and the last Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. But you can always, because it's on Facebook, you can always jump on my page later that evening. If you have to work or whatever, you can jump on my page later that evening and watch it.
Yeah.
But we always have some really good biblical content and lots of good stuff as far as cooking hacks, things like that, and a recipe. And sometimes I do more than one recipe in that hour, and it's an hour long. Okay. But I mean, I'm a multitasker, so I can start one recipe and get another one going over here, and while that one's simmering, show you another that's more simple. So, and I did the cooking segments on Talk of the Town for a while. Mm-hmm. Before I was diagnosed with cancer. So that's what spurred that interest to do that.
I had forgotten about that, but I remember that. And so, I mean, that's really interesting. And do you record them and then post them? You don't stream them live?
No, I stream them live. When the dogs bark, you hear it.
So do you have a way to save those? Because you know they dump them after a month.
I do. If you download them, they'll give you a warning that it's about to be dumped, and then I download it and save it to my files so that I can always bring it back up and share it again later and that kind of thing.
I just caution everybody on that. Is like, don't forget, Facebook does not hang on to them anymore. We lost a lot of videos because they kept saying they were going to dump them, and then I was like, you said that, and I ended up not getting some of mine that I wished I had of. But I mean, it's neither here nor there, but there's a few shows I would have really liked to have made sure I had, and one in particular, it's on another computer, but that's another story for another time that we're trying to salvage, but it's got Mayor Vogel in it. And it's just a precious, so funny. But he doesn't know I'm trying to recover that. But he'll be like, "Oh, LaVern, don't do that." But anyway,
he knows now. You just told him on the radio.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I love Mayor Vogel, and he's him not coming in here every month. I'm gonna hate not seeing him when we get a new county mayor. But he's been a delight.
I just saw him the other day at Kiwanis.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Well, we've got just a few minutes here. Anything else? We've got some things from Lee Marie we need to share. They are doing a sign language class at Well in the Square. And this tonight is like, I think their third meeting. So you could still join tonight, but she's like, we got to cut it off tonight. But they've got like 20 people learning sign language. And I think that's just wonderful. That's something that I would love to do. And then also too, we've got the National Day of Prayer coming up. So on Thursday, May 7th, you can pray on the courthouse square. This is going to be happening from 12 to 1. And I love this poster they've put out for this. But this is the National Day of Prayer coming up on Thursday, May 7th from 12 to 1. But definitely want to invite you to come out to Well on the Square tonight. If, like me, you've been wanting to learn sign language, here's your chance to do it. And you can still get on those classes. I forget exactly how much they cost. There is a fee that goes along with it, but it is a skill set. So,
well, we are actually using some of that sign language in our patriotic line dance team. We are debuting a song never been heard before on the radio or anyplace else, written by yours truly.
Awesome.
Called "Those Stripes."
Okay.
And it says, those stripes on the flag that hangs on the pole are not the stripes that saved my soul. Those are the stripes on the back of a king, hung not on a pole, but on a tree, who shed his blood for you and me. So wake up, America, and praise the king. So we're doing Wake Up, America.
Yeah.
And praise the king.
I love it.
And we're doing that, and it's going to be a blast. But something that you don't know, that is a teaser.
Okay.
That's going on at Well in the Square in June.
Okay.
We're going to start a series, a 6-week series, and we'll do it again further into the fall. But in the summer, we're going to do a 6-week series of marriage workshops.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To dig into the root of communication glitches and talk about the biblical order of the household.
Okay.
So, because society has pushed women out of order. Mm-hmm. And as a woman, I can say that. But out of need and necessity. And we're going to help them navigate themselves back into the biblical order of the household.
Okay.
And but we're going to work on communication issues and how to have fun with your spouse.
I love it.
You know, how to be present and have fun. So that's just a teaser. We'll be back again on the Go Show and maybe on this show, whatever,
Absolutely.
to talk about it.
You can come on anytime, sister. You know you can. Absolutely. Love having Sheila in here. Sheila Bird's in the house again. All things My Father's House we were talking about today, of course, and her books and all those things.
That's
and
yours.
All the things going on. Oh, thank you. I forgot. And thank you so much.
You're
welcome. We'll look forward to having you back on. I'll tell you, as far as tomorrow is Faith Friday. Shannon Baumgartner's coming.
Oh,
and,
good.
Yeah, she is our reoccurring fourth Friday guest. So we are excited to have her in here to talk to her about all the things going on with her.
She's on our line dance team too.
It does not surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys will have to come out to the Kilgore Festival from Friday night for the square dance and do some stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the square dance.
Oh, okay.
We have the Dan Kelly fiddle competition with the kiddos, and then we do a square dance before the big kickoff for the Bluegrass Festival. But more about that later. It's 8:00. It's time for us to go. Thank you, Sheila, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for joining us. Stay with us because you've got great programming right here on 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Have a great day.